Hello, this is Wmpyr, here to talk about Espada Y Daga, which is sword and knife. Be using a training knife and a stick instead of a sword. Now, in the past, I said to you guys basically two things about this. I've shown you guys like exercises, just exercises. And then the other thing that I showed you guys was I basically explained that it's difficult. This is a very difficult skill, that it is probably one of the most advanced skills in Kia, Kali, Escrima, and Arnis. And the reason why I say that is because the length is different, right? And yeah, you could just ignore the length and just do something like the Heaven 6 like this, right? But that is not the most efficient or effective way, in my opinion, to use Espada Y Daga. So the proper way would be to effectively use the length difference and make that a factor. So if you just ignore it, then this could be normal double sticks, or this could be two knives, or whatever. You know what I mean? So, but for now, I want to dive in a little bit deeper into it, and I want to try to attempt to explain why this is high skill. So let's go to double sticks first. Okay. So when you go to double sticks, we're going to imagine that this is the knife because it's in my left hand, and then this is the short sword that's in my right hand. So this is the main weapon, right? So this one's in the front, and this one's in the back, right? So when they attack, I'm going to be using the longer weapon, which is in the right hand, my strong arm, to defend. So I'm going to defend, and defend. Okay. Not using the backhand, which would be the knife. I'm using the hand in the front. To me, this is very important here to understand that, because that's important. That's critical, because what you're doing there is going to be the same with knife or empty hand. So remember the one system thing. So for Espada Y Daga, we're going to do something a certain way, and then with double sticks, it's going to be different, and then with knife, it's going to be different, and then empty hand, it's different. No. It's one system. It needs to be uniform. At least that's the way I learned my Filipino martial arts. So, once again, now we have double sticks here. So when I'm defending, this is the right hand. So I'm going to be defending. This is the support, right? And then I defend over here. Once again, this is the right hand, the long, the sides. The side that's to the front, it's the longer weapon right here. Remember, this one's supposed to be the knife. Boom. So this is the support hand. My left hand becomes the support. So down here, same thing, support. Down here, this is support, right? So just so you guys get a better visual, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we could get more technical. We could get more technical and say, it's not this. It's not this, because if I do this, I'm ruining my blade edge. So it needs to be on the flat side, right? So here I'm, like I said earlier in the very beginning, we're going to be defending with the main weapon, which is the sword. So I'm defending with the sword, and this is just support. So instead of putting the edge right there, I want to put the flat side there. I want to save my edge. And if this slides off, this could be an attack, right? So I could do that. It makes sense. Over here, once again, defending, and then this is my support. I don't want to support like this because I'll ruin the edge. So here on the flat side, if you want to get technical. And then here, I could come into that attack and then come back. So I'm just, that's some technical detail, right? So you same here, down here. Look, using the flat side. And then over here too. Using the longer weapon for the main defense. This is support, but using the flat side. Okay. So now now that we did that, let me go to, if we go single stick, it would be the same idea, right? Single stick, empty hand. This hand is my support. Over here, this hand is my support. Down here, this hand is my support. Down here, this is my support. So with single stick, it's the same thing. Same idea, same one system, right? Now, we're going to go empty hand. You go empty hand, the person attacks, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, and I'm here. And this hand, once again, can support, 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 and support, all right? So once again, I'm being consistent here. The one system goes all the way, right? The weapon can change, still the main core movements don't change, one system. All right. Now, another thing that's important about that is using, once again, I'm going back to the long, the one that's in the front. So this is the longer one. This one's in the back, so it becomes short. It's going to become shorter unless I change stance. So this is the longer weapon. That's to the front. That's my main defense, right? Which goes along with fencing. So the weapon side to the front, the main stronger arm, the main arm that's going to be to the front, the longer one is doing the defense, right? There was, now you go, well, MMA is different. I don't think so, all right? There was a Pancrase fighter. So if you don't know the organization, Pancrase, look it up. They were doing MMA type of fighting, and they produced a lot of MMA champions. Guys like Bas Rutten, Ken Shamrock came from Pancrase. So, you know, it is an organization that was doing full contact fighting over in Japan. And they evolved over the years. But anyway, so Pancrase, Mr. Funaki, who fought Rickson Gracie later on, like in 2000. Anyway, Mr. Funaki, one of the founders of the Pancrase organization, and he worked Ken Shamrock's corner when Ken Shamrock was fighting in the UFC. This guy made a video talking about how they their techniques, explaining their techniques, and he said defense-wise, originally they had their hands here because they're going up against, they're grapplers primarily, but they're going up against strikers, and they were like, we have to have our hands here to protect, to defend. And he was saying that especially against foreign fighters, that they could be heavier, stronger, and bigger than a lot of the Japanese fighters. He's saying that you block, but you're still taking damage because they're so powerful. So he said, so we had to change. Instead of blocking here, we're blocking out here. It's much, much better to block out there. So I'm not disagreeing with him. That makes perfect sense to me. And all you got to do is do some full contact sparring with someone bigger than you, and you'll know exactly what he's talking about. And I have, and once again, I agree with that. But the reality is you can't always block out here. Sometimes it's comes in too fast, you're too late, whatever, and you if you don't have this kind of defense here, you know, like you see, if you don't have this, then you're going to get tagged. And you see it with guys that don't have enough sparring experience, and they try to block everything out here like they do in the dojo, and then they do full contact sparring, and they're just wide open. So they get nailed. They're trying to do stuff out here, and they're getting destroyed. You need to have this. Even with weapons involved, even with Filipino martial arts, don't expose your fingers because a knife can easily take off one of these guys, so you close it, and you're using this side, not this side where you're very, very vulnerable. This side is meatier, and your blood vessels and stuff. So if you had to, this is the better shield. So there's a time and place for this is what I'm saying. And if you don't have this kind of close range blocking, then what you're doing is not very realistic, because the reality is, like I said, even though I want to be blocking out here, I want to be out here, and I want to be defending out here, you don't always get that. That's just a reality. I'm sorry to say, it happens. You know, even if you start off from a distance and you go, I got this, and you'll find yourself sometimes it's just coming in way too fast. You're defending way too close. It happens. But if you don't have it, that's every time you're going to be nailed right there. That's going to be the beginning of the end for you. So I want to make that very clear. So that's something that Mr. Funaki did not mention. He just said, I want to defend out here. So he was doing this. I'm not saying that he's wrong. He probably understands that. That's why one hand is here and the other hand is out here. And a lot of MMA fighters do that. A lot of today's MMA fighters do that. The hand is not just all out here, or it's not just all back here. It's half and half. You know, probably because of the reason that I said. You need both. All right. If you're good, you could switch back and forth easily. You know, like water. But for those of us that are not as good, we kind of have to compromise. So we have, we have the split stance like that. But anyway, there is a third option here. So one is you want to be defending out here, and that is exactly what I've been showing you guys with the Espada Y Daga in this video right now, is here, right? I want to be defending out here with support if necessary. If it comes back, see with the flat side of the blade, if it comes back, okay, so here, all right, so the support if necessary, okay, but I want to be out there. Now, but the other one is a counter, okay, so as the attack comes in, I counter it, so it would be right here, and that is your scissor motion. Okay, so I'm going to try to explain that to you guys empty hand first, because I think it's easier. So their attack is coming at me. Boom, right? Their attack is coming at me. So I'm going to parry it right here, and then this hand is going to defang the snake. So I'm going to cut them on their hand, right? If I have a blade, probably my sword, but if not, I could stab them there. So this is the parry. So that motion right there is this. Sorry, I don't have Stickman anymore, who is great for this kind of thing. But here, this is the motion. So this is a scissor. It cuts, right? It's a scissor motion. So the attack's coming in. I'm going to parry. And then with empty hand in Filipino martial arts, what they teach is you parry here. This one makes the fist. And you're going to clip them right on the inside of this is your funny bone right here, okay? This is your funny bone. You clip them right there. It's supposed to make the arm numb. I mean, we could go into all that, but I don't rely on stuff like that. So you could still go for it, just don't expect that, boom, now his arm's going to be like this and he's going to be like, no. I mean, that's in a perfect world, right? So don't expect that. So you just, boom, the main thing is you're not getting hit. So you're using the scissor motion, boom, and that's the dirty boxing, right? So I'm parry and boom. In boxing, it's the same idea. You parry, but instead of hitting the arm, you counter to the head or the body. So it's the same idea. Boom right here or boom down there. You are hitting to the head or the body. In Filipino martial arts, we're hitting the arm, okay, right there. That's where the funny bone will get triggered right there. So that's what you're aiming for. In karate, it's kind of interesting. They don't go for the arm, but this hand, the parry hand, is a fist. The parry hand is a closed fist. So their punch coming in, you're hitting that, boom, right here. And then this one can do multiple things, but you could trap the arm, and then you hit them on the hand, and now you could go into some kind of lock or something. But or you're more of a striker, then you could, like boxing, you could strike. But that first hand is this, not an open hand. So that would be more the karate style. But all three, they're basically, to me, doing the same core movement. So I thought that was very fascinating. But that is what we call the scissor motion. And that scissor motion can go this way and it could go this way. So 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Now I'm going to show you guys how to practice that. So the scissor motion is the best move of what I showed you right now in this video. So what I showed you was blocking from a distance, right? More fencing style, right? And then the other one was blocking close. It makes it through here, so now I gotta block here. And then number 3 is the counter. The counter is the best. It's the most ideal. If you have the choice and you could do any one of those 3, you should go for the counter. It is the best. The reality is counter is the hardest. It's always hardest to do the counter. Why? Because in order for me to do a counter, I have to be able to time it. I have to be able to see what's coming. I have to be able to predict and know what's coming. There's a lot of factors there. So I have to be in a really, really good position overall to be able to pull off a counter. Like, even though I look like I'm being attacked and I look like I'm in trouble, I'm sailing here. I'm doing great, and I'm just setting up traps here. That is the mentality of a counter, to be able to pull off a counter. You know exactly what you're doing. Everything is good, even though it may not look good. That is the counter. A block like this is things look bad, and they are bad. That's a block. That's why you're here. That's why you're doing this kind of thing. Okay, and then defending out here, you're playing very safe. Very, very safe. So you're okay, but you're not doing anything to them really either. So they're okay too. So the best one is the counter. Like I said, it's just the most difficult. And for me, with Espada Y Daga, sword and dagger, that is the skill that they're teaching you, which, like I said, this kind of counter that I showed you guys, which is the parry and the punch in boxing, there's not a boxer in the world that doesn't know that, doesn't practice that. But if you can land that, it's going to be helping you dominate and win the match. That is a high skill. That is what you want to be doing, right? So it's the same thing over here with Filipino martial arts. So how do we practice that? We practice that with, let's get double sticks first, and you're just going to stand square. Don't even worry about a more realistic stance right now. And just this, this jump rope. Okay, so it's like I'm doing jump rope, but then I cross the arms. Boom, 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 boom. Cross the arms, cross the arms. And when I cross the arms, my right arm goes on top, and then my left arm goes on top. Right arm goes on top, left arm goes on top. Right, left, right, and left. And sorry, I'm way too close to the wall here, and there's no space. But as we're doing that motion, now we could start to get into a fighting stance. Imagine this is a dagger. Imagine the one in the right hand, if you're right-handed, is the sword. And then from here, I'm gonna actually, instead of defending with the long one, which is safer to defend, I'm letting them come all the way in, and I'm going to defend with the shorter weapon right here. So that's the parry right here. To parry like this, you better be able to see their attack, and you better be able to time it because it's coming very close to you. And then on top of that, it's small. This is a small motion, so you better be able to be accurate as well. So that's why I say it's difficult. But let's say you're confident you could do that, you can time it, and you're going to do that, boom, and then this is your counter strike right here. So you're going to go boom. And then on the recovery, here's another attack right there. This is another slash right there. And then cross, when I do a cross again, this is for the other side, okay? And then boom, like so. So the main idea is first start with 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. First start with that. And then when you get more comfortable, now get into a fighting stance and do that same thing and try it. Imagine their attack coming in, and you're gonna boom right here. You're gonna 1 and 2, and then over here, this is my parry, which in Espada Y Daga, this would be the knife. This is the dagger, and this is over here is the sword. And I'm going boom right here, and then here. I am cutting on the way out as well. Okay, and then again here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And in my case right now, I'm mixing the movement. So not only am I parrying, I'm getting out of the way. So I'm putting in the footwork there too. So 1, and then here's my counter. And then over here, the side that's going to parry, I'm going in that direction. I want to be out. I'm getting out of there, you see. So if I'm going to go this way, then I'm going to that shoulder of the same arm that's doing the parrying. And this is my strike right here. This is my slash. And then here's that's basically the weaving, tying the knot, but that's this part. 1, 2, 1, 2, the pulling part, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So that, in a nutshell, hopefully can explain to you guys a little bit more about Espada Y Daga and why I think it's so, it's advanced high technique. But that's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.